All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Molly. I'm a co-founder here at EarnBetter. And today I'm excited to be talking with Destiny, who recently landed a new job and is a member of the EarnBetter community. We asked if she would have an informal chat with us to pass along any insights or tips from her job search in case those might be helpful to other job seekers. So that's why we're here today. Destiny, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Molly. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here and encourage others. There's so many people out there in the job market right now that's trying to look for jobs. Just go on Reddit and you'll see it all. And even on LinkedIn, we're all like out here. We need to all support each other. So that's why I'm here.
Totally. We really appreciate it. All right. Well, let's get to it. Can you share a bit about yourself and your job search to start?
Absolutely. So just a little bit about me. I am currently a project coordinator. Apparently, that is you have to own it. So I am a project coordinator. I've spent several years working on like the back end of things, doing a lot of admin work, executive assisting, and my most recent employment, I separated from. I was looking for new endeavors and wanted to transition into the more tech side of things versus, just admin roles. But I've heavily concentrated on like workflows and making startup companies better than where they started. And that's just kind of been my journey. And so now I have a passion for wanting to help in tech as far as either healthcare or education has kind of been my go-to. So right now I'm in healthcare.
Nice.
Hmm.
Good stuff. And can you tell us a bit more about the job that you just landed?
Absolutely. So the job I just landed, and honestly, I didn't give up. I was very motivated, but I also took breaks as well with applying for jobs. But how I found this one is, I believe through I imported in externally, so you can do of course, the internal jobs that EarnBetter has, and then you can do the external,
Mhm.
and then import it in there to create the resume. So that's what I did, and I had honestly forgot where I might have, maybe it could have been LinkedIn. I can't remember directly, but I think it was probably LinkedIn. And I always like to apply on the company's websites versus on LinkedIn or, what's the other sites? You know what I'm talking about. But,
The
but
other third parties. Yeah.
exactly. So I prefer to do that. And so I was like, okay, let me, put it in there. I've only used EarnBetter for like a month, maybe. And I've been looking for a job since March. So that says a lot on its own. And that's kind of how I landed this job. And let's just say the interview process was only a week long. I had 3 interviews. I met with the recruiter, and then I met with the team, and then I met with the VP. And I've got hired that same week, which was a week ago. So
That is amazing.
yeah.
So just to kind of play it back, you were on the job search for about 6 months. Then when you found EarnBetter, you found your job on LinkedIn, but you used EarnBetter to help with the resume and cover letter. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then about a week later, you got the offer.
Yep, I use the interview prep, um, and all the thank you, the that email. That's that you can send. And I just love that it was all right there to utilize.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's really great. So we're really pumped for you. Um, and how many jobs do you think you applied to throughout the search, just to get a sense?
I was actually just doing the survey that came in from you guys. I think since March, maybe about 65 to 75 jobs.
Okay, got it. And was that the first one that you used EarnBetter with?
No, I was using EarnBetter for, about a month,
Hmm.
and I've maybe applied to possibly 15 jobs on EarnBetter. Well,
Okay,
using EarnBetter, once I found it, like I was just every single job I applied to after that was used EarnBetter. So it was about 15 jobs I think I
okay.
used, and yeah.
Nice. Glad
Yeah.
to hear it. And I know you've touched on some of these, but anything in particular that you found helpful about EarnBetter or any of the services that you would recommend?
Man, I love that it's free. To find something like this free is insane. You guys hopefully are getting donations because so many people could use it. I've gone on LinkedIn. I've looked at like what recruiters are looking for. I've looked at resume writers, like what they, recommend. I've tweaked my own personal resume myself. That took hours. I've also like changed my LinkedIn profile, which has helped get me more views, of course. But I think that using it and the fact that it was free, the interview prep tools was amazing. It can be, you know, of course, it's more AI, so you have to personalize it for yourself. But I love that it was all right there and you can track your jobs. And I think that was the most beneficial, especially when you're applying for so many blindsidedly sometimes. And you're like, what job is this? And I think I've gotten 2 interviews using EarnBetter actually. And one of them, I was like, what job is this? So I would go through my tracker, see the exact date because I was writing it out by hand in my notes. So
Mm-hmm.
having it to be like, it was just so much. So it's so simple, but such a breath when you're like, oh, okay, I know what job this is. I know the job description. I can find it. No problem. I love that.
Yeah, no, the job tracker helps people stay organized and track everything. Because to your point, if you're applying to 60 jobs over a 6-month period, it can kind of get confusing. Like, when did I apply to this? Which site did I find it on? If they already took the job description down, it can be really hard to track that. So we always store that in the job tracker so you can come back to it. So glad that you found that helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Next question. So the job search can be grueling, as I'm sure you know. It took 6 months. Like, how did you stay motivated throughout?
Positive affirmations. So just a side note, I've personally been working on my inner self, also being a pregnant woman currently. Uh,
Congrats.
right. So by the way, they were okay with it. And I'm like 3rd trimester, guys. So
Love it.
and um I definitely just had to keep positive, and I took a lot of breaks. So it wasn't like straight on applying every single day. It was more so like I know some people are, that are out there that are like influencers and whatnot, and they're trying to help. They're like apply to like all the jobs on Sunday night, and then go from there. Honestly, it's exhausting, and I didn't do that method. I just kind of went with being positive. I had a certain salary in mind. I watched, a lot of TikToks and videos from like resume writers and whatnot to like, know how to prepare for a job interview, of course, to be ready for that. But taking breaks, I would apply 1 week and I'd have a week off. Like I'd go crazy 1 week, take another week off. And that's kind of what kept me sane throughout the process over 6 months. I think 1 month I took a month off because I had, I was first trimester and I was really like going through the slippery slope of the emotions, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I took like a month off. I was like, I can't do it. I traveled back home. I just took a break from like life for a minute. And then I came back pumped and motivated, and I would do that 1 week, one week on, 1 week off thing. So I think that's what kept me so motivated. And I didn't have a too high of expectation. Like I did have one previous interview, which was only like I would say 3 weeks apart from the job I got currently. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, there's another interview. I have another chance. But it was like I had like the interview with the recruiter, I asked all the right questions and things, but when things didn't go, to the next step, not that I don't think I did anything wrong, but if I didn't go to the next step, I was like, it's fine. Things will come. Everything happens for a reason. And you just be positive to yourself because maybe you weren't aligned with that particular job. And this job that I did land was like perfect for me having a child and everything. It's like part-time with the potential for full-time. It's like exactly what I'm looking for. They mentioned how their culture was and how accepting they was from the beginning before I even disclose any information. So I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah. Congrats. I mean, that's definitely a sigh of relief because you want to make sure that you land somewhere that, you know, long term it's going to be a fit.
Yes.
Because if you end up taking just any job and you're not necessarily aligned with the company dynamics or vision, then you could find yourself in 6 months kind of in the same position where you're back to looking, which nobody wants, especially in this market.
Right. Exactly.
And I love what you said about taking breaks because the job search can be a full-time job, but it's thankless and it doesn't pay and it can be, you know, very isolating and lonely and people need to make sure that they're making time for themselves and whether that's spending time with their family or going on a walk or hanging out with their dog, whatever it might be, but like taking some time away because you can't just apply to jobs nonstop or it's hard to keep going.
It'll mess with you for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Any other tips or advice for people who are on the job search?
Yeah. So just a side note, it's not only me, but my partner as well. We both, I think I found EarnBetter, or she used to use it like a year or two ago. But I think she couldn't figure out how to download her resume or whatever. And I saw it. I don't remember where I saw you guys. I wish I could remember. It was either Reddit, because I'm always on Reddit. Always on Reddit. Like that's the real juice. That's the real tea of life. Either Reddit or I'm not on TikTok as often, but I feel like it probably was Reddit if anything. And then I go to Reddit to see where people apply for jobs and whatnot. And I told my partner about it and she was like, oh yeah, I heard of them, but I couldn't figure out how to like download my resume, so I just didn't use it. So I was like, and she was like, yeah, it's supposed to be like, I was like, okay, let me see it's out because I heard good things from the post. So I went on there and it was like 100% free. I said, girl, you know it's free, right? She was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah. So then I was like, yeah, I just did it. I applied for a job in like 5 minutes. I've been so exhausted, you know, tweaking my personal resume over and over again. And it that made me take longer breaks in between, you know, making like I would, instead of applying for 3 jobs and, you know, feeling productive, like I was in like my production rate was more. So
Mhm.
even before I was maybe doing like 2 jobs a day because it was like, okay, this is exhausting, I'm tired. But with EarnBetter, I was like, oh God, I get to, you know, like pump these out like crazy. So I'm doing like 5 to 10 jobs during that day. And I feel productive. Like, okay, if I feel better about taking a week off because I know I produced a lot that day. And I told her about it, and then she was, and I told her, "Girl, I said I had no problem with downloading the resume. The cover letter came too." She was like, "What? Let me see." So I showed her. I was like, "Yeah, I already applied for the job in time we were talking."
I
so,
love it. I
so
love it. That's
she
great.
she went right on there, and then she started applying. And tell me why she got a job too.
How did she get her job?
Oh gosh. So she did the external thing as well. She was applying on LinkedIn, but she did use her EarnBetter resume to
Mhm.
get the job. She's been without a job longer than I have, honestly. She was pregnant last year and then she was on the job search for probably 6 to 8 months as well. And she had a job recently, and it was horrible. Hours were terrible, um,
Mhm.
and it was bad for us and a child. So she was still applying, and she used EarnBetter, of course. We were both using it at the same time. She got hired to her job first, and she had an interview. Recruiter pretty much hired her on the spot, and she's all like, we're both in healthcare, so she's also in healthcare. I'm just on the tech side. She's more on the
Okay.
admin side. And then she got hired, and then I was like, it's gonna be my turn soon. It's gonna be my turn soon. And like 2 weeks later, here's me.
That's
So
that's amazing. So
yeah.
both of you got jobs using your Earn Better resumes within 2 weeks of each other?
Yes. Yeah. Because
Wow.
I had that last interview first before her, and that one didn't pan out. But then she had an interview. I like listened to the whole thing, and she got hired. Like nobody really asked too many questions about my resume. Like they were like, you seem, every time I talked to someone, they were like, you seem highly qualified. I didn't get any interviews previous to using EarnBetter, like any. Like the interviews I did get was related to like my business, but that was it. And I didn't want to go that path anymore. So it was like, how could this resume be better than the one I spent hours on? And I was like, I'll give it a chance. And I did. And she was doing that. And after like 2 weeks, like a week and a half, maybe later, she got hired. And then I got hired. And then I start next week. She starts October 14th. Her start date is a little later, but we're both just like, oh my God.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for y'all. That's such good news. So if you were going to maybe summarize how Earn Better helped you guys, or just you, whichever one you want, in a few sentences, how would you describe that?
Um, so how would I describe it as far as feelings go, or how would I describe it as far as like the tech goes?
I guess both.
Okay. I think EarnBetter is a really innovative, futuristic tool that a lot of job seekers can use to double their productivity with applying for jobs. Because I went from applying to 1 to 2 jobs and feeling exhausted to being able to like pump out way more. I think that boosts your confidence. I think it gives you a little bit more hope. The ratio to applying for jobs to getting a job, is pretty, like, you have to apply to a lot to get something. So that makes you feel better about it. And I really think that Earn Better is giving people like the confidence and like it's taking what everybody's wondering, like everybody's asking recruiters how to do this, how to, like, what are you guys looking for in a resume? Like, what's supposed to be said, what's not supposed to be said? Like, so many people are wondering. And it's taking what the tech is supposed to be, the innovativeness, and it's putting it into this machine that knows, based off of how you guys program it, knows what the job market is looking for, and putting that and transforming what our experience is in our careers, putting that into our resumes and being sent out, so that we don't have to overthink about it. We don't have to keep having our egos busted every time we have to tweak our own personal resumes. And it takes that pressure off. So I think as far as the tech goes and using it, it's super easy, it's super simple, and you guys are giving people more confidence for sure. And as far as feelings goes, I hope that people have as much success as we have. And honestly, like, I don't do reviews often or anything like that, but I represent tech, and this is a good one. So I'm happy
Awesome.
for you guys.
Well, we really, really appreciate it, Destiny. Thank you so much for your time today. And good luck in the new job. We're excited to hear how it goes.
Thank you.